Robot design tip number 4. This drawing contains many dimensions that define the profile. However, in sketching for robotic design, you want to build in relationships before you add dimensions. Let's create a new part and illustrate this example. Select the front plane for the sketch plane. I am sketching a rectangle with, again, a center line located between the corners of that rectangle. Right-click and add a midpoint relationship between the center line and the origin. Remember to hold the Control key down when selecting geometry. With the midpoint relationship, you build symmetry into the rectangle. Add an equal relationship between two perpendicular lines so that now you have a square. Let's work on the circles. The circles are aligned to the origin at its center point. Sketch a circle. There is a horizontal relationship between the center point of the circle and the center point of the rectangle. There is also a tangent relationship between the vertical line and the circumference of the circle. Let's define the length of the circle based upon a construction line. Equate the length of the square with the length of the construction line. Now only one dimension would be required to define the diameter of the circle and the length of the square. Create another circle. Remember to add relations. Right-click Select. Select the circumference of the circle, select the horizontal line, and select tangent as the relationship. Create a vertical relationship between the square and the circle. If you utilize the Line Sketch tool, you will pick up quadrant points as you move towards the circle. I am selecting a relationship between two quadrant points of the two circles. Utilize the Trim Sketch tool to remove the unwanted geometry. Sketch a second circle located concentric. Again, I will use a center line to define the radius relative to a linear line segment in my sketch. If it is the design intent for the small line segment of the square and the radius of the circle to be equal, then build that intent into the original sketch with construction lines. One dimension defines the upper half of the sketch. Sketch a construction line from the corner of the square to the midpoint of the short line segment. Now, the center point of that short line segment will be diagonally aligned to the origin. Select the two large circles to be equal, select the two small circles to be equal, and the sketch is completely defined with one dimension. Add relations before dimensions. In a sketch, you can also build in intelligent properties. For example, I have 3 blocks here defined to represent a belt chain situation, whether gears or wheels. The Sketch Entities tool, Belt Chain, located under the Tools menu, is used to simulate properties of a belt and chain. Select the blocks and change the arrow to modify the belt orientation. The more blocks you select, the different behavior for your belt. You can also adjust if the belt will be above a pulley or below a pulley. This type of simulation is important in 2D in designing robotic components before you have gone through the effort of the final design. Also, you can determine your overall belt or chain length. Use sketch tools, make path for cam design, offset entities, and convert entities for robotic sketches.